Necessarily. In certain areas maybe, but not necessarily.
And so to be identified, you should be identified in
yeah, JC Patel. JohnConstantinou.
So I'm writing all this.
Right. Christian, just pronounce your name so I have it on camera. At least say it correctly.
Yeah, JohnConstantinou. That's the English version at least.
Just give me an idea of the advantages of setting up a business in Cyprus.
I would say there are predominantly three advantages for setting up business in Cyprus. And if we put them into a heading, one would say would be the tax advantages. The second would be the infrastructure that's available here for somebody who wants to set up business here. And Cyprus is also serving as a gateway for many companies outside the EU who want to have business with the EU. Cyprus is a very good opportunity for them due to the fact that Cyprus is a member of the European Union, and with its very low tax rate, it obviously gives them a lot of advantages.
Can you explain a little bit on the taxation, the advantages of taxation that you talked earlier about Europe being the lowest rate in Europe?
Cyprus currently has one of the, not one of the lowest tax rate in Cyprus, in the European Union, at 10%. In other words,
I'm sorry. Could I ask you just
to do it again? Yeah. Currently, Cyprus has the lowest tax rate, corporate tax rate, in the whole of the European Union. This is at 10%, which means that all the profits of a company are taxed at 10%. If the shareholders of the company are non-resident in Cyprus, let's call them foreigners, then there is no withholding tax on the dividends either. So effectively, the effective rate for any company that sets up business here from abroad is that they pay a corporation tax rate of 10%, as opposed to the rest of the European countries, which could be up to 50–52%. So you appreciate that that is a very advantageous position to have. And on top of that, you've got a specialized tonnage tax system for shipping, which allows or is attractive to many ship owners to set up business here and to do the ship management from here, because they pay tax on the tonnage of the vessels they manage, rather than I'm simplifying it now, of course, but basically they pay tax on the tonnage they manage rather than on the profits that they make from operating the ships. So in a very general way, this is a tax position that Cyprus enjoys for some time now, and it has proven to be very beneficial and attractive for many companies from abroad to set up business here.
You talk about this being a gateway. Gateway to where, and why would this be a good gateway?
Well, it's a gateway for, let's take an example, a Chinese company.
Cyprus is a gateway.
Yeah. Cyprus is a gateway to Europe for the very basic reason that it's a member of the European Union. So if we take the example of a Chinese company who might want to set up some sort of business in the European Union, they might, or they should, choose Cyprus as the place where to do business. One, because of the corporate tax rate, which, as we mentioned before, is only 10%. And secondly, because Cyprus is a member of the EU, and therefore they will enjoy the benefits out of operating out of an EU country. And you appreciate that is obviously a very positive element in the way that they would decide where to set up business.
Infrastructure, expand a bit on the infrastructure. What parts of the infrastructure do you have in place that is helpful for business?
Cyprus's infrastructure is considered to be very high standard. Now, what do we mean by infrastructure? Cyprus has a lot of internationally educated people who have, for many reasons of predominantly historical reasons, they have studied abroad, either in UK or America or Germany or whatever, and coming back to their own country, they've set up businesses. These is lawyers, these are accountants, these are engineers, these are people in the banking sector, for example. So if we look at the infrastructure of Cyprus, and what do I mean by infrastructure, is that Cyprus can offer a very high level of professional communication services. Yeah. It can offer an extremely high level of financial accounting services, and the legal system, which is based on the British legal system, I would say, offers itself very well for companies who want to make sure that they are operating in a legal environment which will secure their investment. So putting all this together, the legal, the financial, the banking sector, which is also very good, and the communication, you appreciate these are the elements that make up a good setup and an operation which will function in a proper way and an efficient way, basically.
I'm going to ask you about energy, but I want you to answer with if we do find energy. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit of what will happen if we do find large finds of energy here, oil or natural gas.
Well, if Cyprus happens to find some large deposits of energy, be it gas or oil, I envisage that there will be, apart from the major companies that will be contracted in order to exploit this energy. I lost my word there.
Can we just hold it as well? Melina is actually the noisiest of everyone here.
Yeah.
Just have to go in and ask her to.
Her brother.
Σταμάτα, ρε, πιάνεις το μικρόφωνο, ρε. Σταμάτα από τηλέφωνο.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Thank you. I'm running at speed.
Okay. So if Cyprus does find substantial finds of oil and gas, what opportunities will that create for Cyprus?
Well, if indeed Cyprus does find these large deposits of gas or oil that many are talking about, I suspect that out of necessity some companies will need to set up business here. Now, I envisage that there will be a peripheral companies setting up in order to service the major companies that will exploit these deposits. So I do expect that there will be, let's say, an influx of companies in this specific sector, which will of course help the economy of Cyprus tremendously, apart from the revenue that we will have as a country from the deposits that we will found. So at the end of the day, any kind of large, let's say, especially in this case, large-scale operation entails also a large influx of companies to service this sector. So I expect it to be a good thing for the service sector of Cyprus, which has been growing for quite some time now.
Fantastic.
I don't know how good that was over there. It just came out naturally.